Does it sound cleaner by any chance? Or does it sound the same? Well, I'm right next to a drain, so it's almost like worse. I don't know what to do. I mean, okay, all right. I mean, I can try to move away a little bit, I guess. Am I too dark now? Well, I can take out the mic and just do it without it. Kathy said it sounded too hollow before. Again, I can try and move it back a little bit. But the other problem is then my phone is in the rain. Well, I mean, I like to figure it out for 11 o'clock as well, to be honest. So what I do for one would be easier. What the hell? Does that ain't better? I assume it's got to sound better now, right? Huh.
I'm WSA 9 meteorologist Topper Shutt. Our yellow weather alert and our snow coverage and storm coverage continues. I'll be joined by Eric Black in just a minute. Right now, we'll go through the snow totals again, and these were really pretty good. Were they perfect? No. But considering we haven't changed them in over 24 hours, they're pretty darn good. Bullseye, Winchester, Martinsburg, Hagerstown. D.C. a trace to an inch, and just a trace south of D.C., and then 1 to 3 in Gaithersburg, and 3 to 6 kind of on the line, Leesburg, up into Frederick. So this really is not going to change. In fact, I don't think unless you're in this color that has the bullseye on it with deeper purple, you're not going to see any additional accumulation tonight. You may see some more snow, but the accumulation I think is over with. So let's go through some of the totals. Thurmont, 6 inches. Clarksburg, Maryland, 3.5 inches. So this fit our bands pretty well. Leesburg, 4. McLean, 2, and Winchester, 6.8. That's the highest one I can find in Winchester. That seems a little bit low, but that's still, we had you in a 6 to 12 plus band. You're in the low end of that band, but you're still in it. Mount Airy, 4.9. Gaithersburg, 2. This is kind of weird. Bethesda has more than Gaithersburg, 2.2 in Bethesda. And you were in our 1 to 3 band in Bethesda. Martinsburg, 7.7. You're in our 6 to 12 band, okay. And Hillsboro, you're right on the cusp between our 3 to 6 and 6 to 12 band. So, you know, I think we did pretty well, really. So, I want to thank everybody for sending in some picks. These are earlier in the day. This was from Winchester. This Ron Haskell reported 9 inches unofficially around 4 o'clock, 4:05. Dogs love the snow. Yep, why not? This is in Martinsburg. The Jane Way sent that to us, and this is really a kind of a great picture. Good snow in Martinsburg again by McFadden, and then this is kind of a bucolic picture that makes you relax a little bit. This is from Luray that was sent in this afternoon, and they had about 4 to 6 inches out in Luray. So thanks for sending us the pictures. Keep them coming for tomorrow too. Let's go through some futurecasts because this is 8:30 tonight. So right about now, you see the rain in D.C., the mix all the way to Frederick, almost to Hagerstown, but notice the blue still out in Winchester, Martinsburg, and Hagerstown. So they're going to get a little bit more snow on top of what they have. 11 o'clock, same deal. The colder air begins to wrap around a little bit. So when I say that, I mean at the aloft, above us, because that's what determines precipitation types. So kicking things back to a mix even downtown at 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock tonight, but temps are above freezing. It won't be an impact at the surface. By 2 a.m., little area of snow tries to just pull through the northern part of the metro. Don't think that's going to do more than a dusting at best. So that's really it. And then by morning, 5:30, 28 in Manassas, 28 in Leesburg, 28 in Gaithersburg. So nothing's going to flash freeze tonight. And notice downtown it's still 33, but there's going to be some slick spots. And that's one thing a lot of road crews are worried about. And for more on that, we'll check in with Mr. Flack. He is the AAA headquarters in Springfield. All right, Eric, what's going on? What's their thinking?
Hey, Tom, I think they have some concern, just like you were referencing, about some of that refreezing that may go on overnight. You know, when we started out here in Northern Virginia, we got kind of a coating of snow, and then it quickly switched to a wintry mix of sleet and rain is now what we've seen a lot of here in Springfield. But still, that can cause a lot of problems on roads. In fact, the hot spot here in Northern Virginia turned out to be Arlington, just north of Arlington, where AAA tells me they had a number of different drivers who slid off the side of the road and also had some minor accidents there on the interstate. They tell me the reason they had more problems there as opposed to down here in Springfield is because that they really got a good coating of snow over in that area that really caused those slick spots that gave motorists some problems. The interesting thing, as you well know, is that just because it didn't snow in huge amounts across our area doesn't mean that the roads were not problematic. In fact, as of 7 o'clock tonight, AAA tells me that they've responded to about 750, 800, something like that, different calls for service for drivers who are stranded or had to be rescued, pulled out of their cars, or had their cars pulled out of ditches. Most of those were in Northern Virginia, which is their main coverage area. About 700 of those here. There were about 100 in D.C. Another couple hundred up in Montgomery County, Prince George's County, Anne Arundel County. So they're quiet right now. The real concern is what happens overnight before tomorrow's rush hour commute. Of course, the pandemic has kept a lot of people off the roads. That is helpful. But certainly some people are still driving. And despite the fact that the Virginia Department of Transportation is basically asking anybody who has non-essential travel to just go ahead and stay home, to stay off the roads. We know that people will get on the road for various reasons. And so there is some concern about what tomorrow morning's rush hour commute looks like and how much refreezing happens overnight. At least in Virginia, the Department of Transportation working hard with their salt trucks to make sure that they salt as many of these roads and interstates as possible to kind of stay ahead of those slick spots. We know the same is true in the District of Columbia with Public Works there, and also in our Maryland counties to the north. So, you know, basically it's just kind of a wait and see game. As you know, it's so much about temperature, but obviously it's wet out here. There's a lot of precipitation out here. The roads are slick, and any refreezing is certainly going to cause more accidents and more problems overnight, and especially early morning tomorrow, Top.
All right, well, thanks, Eric. I guess the best news we have, I know why it's pouring down there where you are. It's pouring here in Northwest. It's not going to be a flash freeze, so I want folks to realize it's not going to be like, you know, a skating rink tomorrow. But that said, there's going to be some slippery spots, untreated roads, bridges, overpasses, your driveway, untreated sidewalks, that sort of thing. So we issued a yellow weather alert through tomorrow morning for that. But it's not like we're going to plummet into the teens tonight, thankfully. So I just got a question from Andy in Hagerstown. Wants to know how much snow up there. You're going to probably get another inch, maybe 2 tops. And I've had reports anywhere from 6 to 7 inches in Hagerstown. If you have any more than that, just let us know. So here's the deal. 6 o'clock in the morning, notice it's in the 20s still. So that's enough to freeze things, especially secondary roads in the burbs and bridges and overpasses. So again, many schools are already closed. Many folks are already sheltering in place. So in some respects, this is good. The roads should not be busy tomorrow. But if you're even just getting a package tomorrow and your driveway looks wet, it could be frozen. That's black ice. So don't take a spill tomorrow, please. By 9 o'clock, we're still below freezing. Manassas, Leesburg, Gaithersburg at freezing downtown. But by 1 o'clock, everybody's above freezing. A lot of clouds tomorrow. A lot of clouds hanging tough tomorrow. And that will keep temperatures down. Winds northwest, see the arrows. They'll be breezy, not terribly strong, but anywhere from 10 to 15 with higher gusts in the morning. Not so bad in the afternoon. By 6 o'clock, now we're back to freezing again in Manassas and Frederick, and below freezing in Gaithersburg and Leesburg. So we'll probably see refreezing again tomorrow, but there'll be less moisture to work with, so it shouldn't be a major problem on Friday morning. Shouldn't be, so that's good news. By 10:30 tomorrow night, now we're back in the upper 20s with clouds in place and temperatures around 33 or 32 downtown. Southern Maryland, our friends in Southern Maryland, unfortunately, La Plata and Calvert County, St. Mary's County, no, you're going to have a little bit more rain tonight, and I don't even think you're going to see a snowflake on the backside. It was never your storm. We never had any snow south of La Plata in the forecast, and no, I wish it were. I wish it were pure snow for everyone. I wouldn't have taken off my snow tie, but I had to. Wasn't right to wear it with this big mess around here. All right, so this is radar past couple hours. You see another little batch of snow here around Winchester, kind of working its way up I-81. That's what I think could add another inch, inch and a half to the totals along I-81. Still some rain in D.C., although it's not as heavy as it was, but it's still a factor. So rain made it all the way up almost to Germantown. See the green? That's rain. And then the salmon color, I guess that's what it's called. That would be a mix, and then this is going to be snow, and that's going to be snow out to the west. So we're looking at kind of a mixed bag still, unless you go all the way out to I-81. And temperatures are critical. They're still 30 in Leesburg and 30 in Frederick, but they're above freezing in Gaithersburg, above freezing in D.C., and still sitting on freezing to Manassas. And out toward the Blue Ridge, there's a slight chance of a little bit, just a little bit of icing tonight. It's not an ice storm by any imagination, but there's just a chance of a little bit, maybe up to 1/10 of an inch right along I-81, but that's not going to be a huge deal. However, with the snow coupled with that and a little gust of wind, you could lose, there could be some scattered power outages. Weather Service has not changed the warnings, so the white is winter storm warnings across the board. Upper Montgomery County, Loudoun County points west. And then, you know, winter weather advisories in purple here along and west of I-81, I-95. So that makes sense for the time being. They go until the wee hours of the morning, until 4 a.m. tomorrow morning, which makes sense. And if you're a snow lover, you don't want to see this. This is a flood watch for Prince William County, Fairfax County, Lower Montgomery, Prince George's, and everyone to the south and to the east, down toward Charles County and St. Mary's County and Calvert County. That goes to the wee hours of the morning as well. It's never a good sign when you have both of those together. And it's very rare to have winter storm warnings and winter weather advisories in the same area. It's kind of unusual. So let's talk about lows tonight, because these temps are critical. 25 Leesburg, 26 Manassas, 32 downtown. So again, I think if you're in like, Old Town or near Springfield, those areas are going to have some slick spots, but mainly on bridges and overpasses that are not treated, and mainly on your driveway and your sidewalk that's not treated. We don't see any huge problems with ice. But as you get up to Gaithersburg and Leesburg and Frederick, and where they've had more snow, there's been more melting and more ice and more sleet, you're going to have some slick spots on the roads, no doubt about that. So that's good enough for a yellow weather alert tomorrow in the morning. Only 40 for a high. Burbs hold in the 30s, and clouds hang tough. Low 40s on Friday, dry. Saturday, not as cold. Temperatures in the upper 40s. Sunday, we do have a flake and a drop. It's not a storm, just a kind of a front rolling through. So essentially mainly in the morning, and then just near 50, not bad. Chilly on Monday, milder on Tuesday and Wednesday. Look at that. We are back in the low 50s on Tuesday and Wednesday. Now, we talked about temperatures tonight getting down into the 20s and below freezing around town. So we have to worry about something called black ice. What is that? Okay, so what is black ice? It's pretty common around the metro area. So here's the deal, and it can affect, four-wheel drives and cars. It affects everybody. So what appears to be wet in front of you is actually frozen. It's ice, and people kind of let their guard down, and that becomes a problem. You go into a skid. So you have to slow down and just be advised that what you see that may look wet is not always wet. Sometimes it's ice, and it's pretty serious. So again, that's what's going to be the thing to watch tomorrow. Again, not a flash freeze, but just some slippery conditions here and there. All right, so we got an interest in Centerville, and Centerville snowfall. Some of the snowfalls are not final yet, but I think Centerville probably would be final. Let me see if it's on the list here. McLean, 2 inches. Vienna, 1.8. Centerville, I got a bunch, 1.3 in Centerville. Chantilly, I got 1.8 to 1.6 for snowfall. Any other questions about individual cities? Bowie, I don't know if they reported any snow. They didn't report any snow. Calverton reported 1 inch in Prince George's County, and Savage reported 1.7 inches. And as I read out these totals to you, I'll show you our forecast, and I think it was really pretty good. Was it perfect? No, it's impossible to draw a perfect snowfall map, but that was pretty good considering we haven't really changed it much in the last 36 hours. And that was pretty good also considering, and give some credit to the computer models now, that we saw this storm 6-7 days out. That's kind of cool. Any other places for storm totals? Berkeley County. I did. Oh, yeah. Martinsburg, we came in. There were a couple in Martinsburg. 7.7. The airport had 6 inches. That was in Berkeley. Falling Waters had 5.8 in Berkeley County. Anybody else interested? Ashley wants to know about Manassas. I think they sent in a report, Stan, but they may not have. Let's see here. I don't see one from Manassas. I would say probably, an inch maybe, not a bunch. Yeah, I don't see. They don't have every city, but and if they don't have a weather spotter, sometimes they don't put it. Okay, so Frederick County, is that Maryland or Virginia? Because it should be Frederick, Maryland. Frederick, Maryland came in with around 6 inches. In Frederick County, Bloomfield came out with 7.7. Thurmont came out with 6. Frederick, I have one that came out with 2 inches, but we've had other folks come in and say they've had 2 to 4 inches in Frederick. And I really kind of feel good about that, that trace having around 3 inches. Notice how we took the 6 to 12 north of Frederick. And I did that on purpose because I was worried about this warm nose of air that came in. And, it stays cool and cold at the surface, but you get this warm nose of air aloft, and that just makes the snow turn to rain. If it goes through another cold layer, it refreezes as sleet. If it's warm all the way down, if the column's all above freezing, then it just falls as liquid, but then freezes on contact because the surface is below freezing. So notice we took Frederick out of this 6 to 12 band. That was one of the adjustments I made last night at 11 o'clock. I just thought Frederick would be more like 3 to 6 and closer maybe to 4 or 5, and Some areas may only got 2 to 3. So we did that. I also changed Leesburg last night as well and pushed back the 3 to 6 just to the west of you, and then pushed the 12 outside of Loudoun County. I just, I think 6 inches probably will take care of all of Loudoun County, including Hillsborough and Percival. These are very subtle changes I made. I mean, if you looked at the two maps, you wouldn't have been able to tell. I'm a nut, so I can tell, but that's what we did last night. Well, the best sledding, Chris, I mentioned this at noon, you had to get out early before it went to sleet and rain and freezing rain. If you live far enough out, I would say early tomorrow morning, but be careful if it's icy because you can't really control where you're going. Be careful. All right, so there's the map we drew, and this is not going to change. I mean, again, you might add a little bit more up toward Martinsburg and Winchester, but that's it. So let's go over some of the totals I have. This is Thurmont, 6 inches, Clarksburg, 3.5, Leesburg, 4, not bad, but that fit into our band. McLean, 2, and then Winchester, 6.8, and I've seen 6.4. Mount Airy, almost 5, Gaithersburg, 2, Bethesda had 2.2, Chevy Chase had 2 inches too, Martinsburg, 7.7. That was in our bullseye, that was in our 6 to 12 band, and then Hillsborough, 6 inches, and that was essentially in our on the border of 3 to 6 and 6 to 12 band. So, yeah. Some photos came in today. I want to thank everybody for sending photos. Some of you did send before and after pictures, and did hashtag WSA9weather. Thank you. R. Haskell, this 9 inches. I think that says 9 inches. So maybe 8 or so in Winchester. So there were reports of anywhere from 6 to 9 inches in Winchester. Dogs love the snow. This is in Martinsburg. Yes, I haven't had time to post the picture, I'm sorry, of Cherry and Peaches in the snow today. I will try to effort that. Martinsburg, backyard, snowing hard to beat the band around 3:30, 4 o'clock. And then this just is a nice picture from Luray from Christo. That's just a nice picture. And Luray had anywhere from 3 to 4 inches of snow today. So that's great. And we love pictures because you're our eyes when it comes to this sort of thing. And remember, if you go to our app, and there's a little thing called the Near Me button, and it's pretty easy because I can do it. You press the Near Me button, and you can upload a picture or video, and it goes to us directly, and you may see it on the air. We might use it. And again, it's very easy to use. I'm living proof of that. All right, so 8:30 tonight, right about now, we're looking at the mix all the way to Frederick. Let's advance it to 11. Now we see the snow trying to creep back into western Loudoun County. But again, in terms of accumulating snow, it's going to be along I-81. Yeah, this could be a dusting as it works its way across northern sections of the viewing area, but not a big deal. And yes, Futurecast showing a little bit of a mix as far south as Charles County now, but temps are above freezing, so that's not going to cause any problems. The only problems are going to be how cold will we get by morning. So by 2 a.m., a little bit of snow pivoting through Montgomery County. Temperatures in the low 30s there. And then by morning, a lot of the burbs are in the 20s. So things will freeze in the upper 20s. Not like we're going to plummet into the teens, like I mentioned. Not going to be a flash freeze, but that's going to cause some problems. Bridges, overpass, unplowed, untreated secondary roads. Look at that. Manassas even 30. Even Fredericksburg 30 at 6 o'clock in the morning. So be careful walking around tomorrow. And if you can, delay driving till noon, do it. By the time we get to, say, 9 o'clock tomorrow, then we are looking at temperatures still a little bit below freezing north and west. So we had all this cold air, and we were close to a pure snow, but we weren't. So as we mentioned earlier, why does that happen? Okay, here's why we've seen every type of precipitation today. So let's start with a normal atmosphere, what we call a normal atmosphere. So it gets colder as you go up. So it starts to snow and falls to snow. That's an easy one, right? But then you get this warm air intrusion, and we've had that because the storm is tracking too far to the west. So it warms some of the upper levels of the atmosphere. Now, if it warms up top, it goes snow to rain, but then it falls through a cold layer, and that falls as sleet. That's what bounces, okay? That's bad, but it's not the worst case scenario. The worst case scenario is, of course, freezing rain. And that falls liquid and then freezes on contact. So now the whole warm layer is all the way established in the atmosphere. So then it starts as snow, but quickly changes to liquid, stays liquid, and then because the surface temperatures are below freezing, it sticks to, roads and power lines, and that's the worst. Now, we haven't seen a lot of that, but we have seen every possible precipitation type with this winter storm. When is this going to stop in Oxon Hill? So, Elena, well, here's the radar. So you're in the green there, which is rain. It looks like it's going to be another couple hours over here in this area, and it's going to probably stop as rain. Probably won't kick to sleet. I mean, it could kick to sleet for like 20 minutes, but for the most part, you should see a little bit of rain for the next, I would say, till 9, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night, and then pretty much then it's just nothing after midnight. So this is the current radar. Now we still see some, light to moderate rain around D.C., extending over toward Bowie and down into southern Maryland, but the real heavy precipitation is left. It really has. So still a mix out toward Germantown. Snow, Leesburg west, certainly west of 15, and then snow along I-81. And where you see the blue, this is heavier bands of snow. So a pretty good band of snow moving through Martinsburg right now. Some light snow trying to creep back into the Leesburg area. Light snow trying to make a comeback up into Frederick as well. And temperatures, good news, 33 in Gaithersburg. Bad news, you go farther up to 70, and temperatures are around freezing again. This is not a huge concern, but I want to show this. I did talk about this last night a little bit. I got a little more concerned about it last night. I think we're okay, but there's going to be just a little bit of icing. There already has been in parts of Fauquier County and westward toward the Blue Ridge before you get to I-81. But I think that's going to change over now and just be either sleet or snow for the next couple hours. Don't think we'll see any more icing out there. Okay, the winter storm warning continues. Again, Loudoun County west, upper Montgomery County west, northern Fauquier County and north, with along I-95 your winter weather advisories for the mixed bag, which we have. And again, to the east of us, and even including some of those overlapping areas, lower Montgomery County, Fairfax, Prince William, we also have a flood watch. I think now, looking at radar, the flood watch threat is pretty much gone. So I think we are in pretty good shape in that regard. All right, low temperatures for tonight. Cold, 20s. This will freeze stuff, 32 downtown, but the huge amount of rain that we have and moisture and puddles in town are not going to flash freeze. You worry about your driveway, your untreated sidewalks, bridges, overpasses, and untreated secondary roads if you're north and west of town. So it's not going to be one of these cases where, oh my goodness, wake up and it's, a skating rink. There'll be slick spots. Yes, we issued a yellow weather alert about that, but it will not be a disaster, as it were. So, all right, here we go. Before we sign off here, we're going to go yellow weather alert tomorrow morning early for slick spots. Clouds hang tough, 40. 30s in the burbs. Low 40s on Friday and then upper 40s on Saturday. Not a bad day. Don't freak out. We have a little tiny drop and a flake here on Sunday. Could be a flurry or a sprinkle. Just a cold front pushing through. Not a huge deal. Almost 50 on Monday. Low 50s on Tuesday and also on Wednesday. So we will keep you posted. We will see you again a little bit after 9 o'clock on air. And we'll have some updated snowfall totals, too, heading your way in the next hour or so. Remember, download our app and, of course, follow us, WSA9.com. For now, I'm WSA9 meteorologist Topper Shutt.